Hello, everyone. Welcome to VR Verdict Podcast, episode 140, our weekly podcast where we talk about everything VR. I'm PJ.
I'm Wookie.
Joining us today is Robin Mulder from 3 Pound Games. Welcome, Robin.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Can't wait to chat. So you're co-founder and CEO of 3 Pound Games. Here to talk about your awesome game, Space Dragon. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the game and what's going on with it?
Space Dragon is I think it's our original game that we ever put out for Oculus way back in the day, back when we were all young in VR and we had cables tied to our heads and that sort of terribleness. And we're connected to PCs and had to have these little satellites up in order to be able to use the device. Oh my God. Wow. That's back when we did Space Dragon. And this was evolved out of the movement system Unity asset that we built. So it's kind of a, you build a project with the idea in mind that, it's a tool, and then you start playing with it, and then you start coming up with 55,000 ideas on what you could do with it. And we really loved flying. Like, flying was just the funnest thing. And in the movement system, you're just like these types of characters. You're just primitives flying around, and one thing led to another. And pretty soon we're talking about blowing up entire worlds and galactic megafauna. But the mechanic of flying is this is a point and click shoot. Point in the direction you want to go. Your dragons are your hands. You're moving. And you just press a button and go. And if you do one, you kind of have this slower dragons are going to go along nice and slow and evenly. And if you hold both of them down at the same time, then you go into warp. And then you're kind of pointing, and you can kind of see if you point your hands together to kind of converge, you're going to go the fastest you could possibly go at one time. But if you pull them apart, your vectors are pulling you apart. So your dragons are fighting in which you're going. So kind of slows you down. It's really fun to play with them that way from a velocity standpoint and how it feels. Most importantly, though, the dragons are a lot of fun to get and talk to each other. And you can see they definitely like to get themselves involved in some shenanigans.
Yeah, there's a few games like this, and I love how you use the hands for the movement, and you can control speed and turn and all that. It just feels really good if you've never played a game like that, anyone listening or watching. It just feels really good, and you can really have very precise control, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah, and that's what made us get into flying so much. It's like, first of all, if I was gonna walk in a game, I mean, you can walk in real life. Like, who cares, But flying, though, like flying through a galaxy, these things are friggin' huge, like absolutely ridiculously huge. These ships right here, I mean, suns fit inside of them. So it just gives you like an idea of the scale, and then you're flying around these universes and blowing up planets, and there's just massive explosions right in your face. It's so satisfying to just have that over and over again. Then you're like, oh, I just want to do another round. Just keep going. And that's actually why did we bring it back to Quest? Is we went back and we were playing it, and nobody could put it down. It's like usually when you kind of like get into your old material, sometimes you have the like, oh yeah, that was awesome, yeah, cool. Maybe it's not today awesome, but it was awesome for the time. This had this is still super fun, super awesome. And so we wanted to bring it up to the Quest, which meant we had to reduce some things here and there to make it fit on that platform. But we've also had a lot of improvements in how Unity works. There's just massive upgrades in performance and that sort of thing, which also allowed us to bring this to a mobile platform versus a PC platform, where we had could only imagine how much performance, like those explosions, the headset's melting at that time.
Yeah. You're
Like all
totally
these
right
legs,
about
and look at all these like legs and the
yeah.
articulated stuff, and then look at all those explosions. Oh my god!
Yeah. You're totally right. When I jumped into the game the first time, it was later at night. I'm like, I'll check this out because we were talking a little bit. Like, let me check it out, get in there. And next thing I know is like an hour later, and I was way past my bedtime. I had to get up early for
Mhm.
work in the morning. And when that happens, when I'm enjoying something, it makes me happy. So I was very stoked about that. But
Yeah, and
back to the movement a little bit.
it's always so weird when it's like, your game too, and you have that
I
moment because you're
bet.
like, wow, this this thing holds up. So it's been a great opportunity because we've gone back and we refined a few things, and now we have a great roadmap for where we're going to go with it coming up this year. We have an extensive roadmap.
Yeah, so updating it, bringing it back to Quest 2, gives you guys the option, which it looks like you're going to like go to Pico and all that, like the newer headsets, and kind of bring it back out and showboat it a little bit and get it back into people's hands.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we are in
Yeah.
talks with Pico on this. And you're the Chinese New Year is right around the corner, and the year of the dragon is next year.
Nice.
So how could we miss this opportunity but to create a bunch of really great updates and get that over to China for Chinese New Year?
It's awesome.
So we actually just we're in the middle of getting Vault of Stars over to Pico. It's in QA right now, uh, right at those final last little bits where we're just make a build, couple tweaks, make a build, couple tweaks. So close to shipping that. But the coolest thing is like this is not worldwide. Vault of Stars is like in Chinese and Korean and Japanese and stuff. Like so freaking cool. I can't wait to go back and like at some point like do voiceovers in all the different languages too.
Nice.
But yeah,
Yeah, and
Space
you
Dragon will be
guys,
cool. That'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a lot of fun in Asia for sure.
I bet. You guys, maybe I'm mistaken, but I think you had quite the live stream today showing off the game. How'd that go for you?
So there were two streams today. We streamed on our dev channel XR Workout, which is a partnership. We're accelerating VR workout is actually what they're called, but someday they'll be called XR workout because that's where we're all going, right? So VR workout is an accelerated project that we're bringing up, and so we're partnered with them, and we're kind of helping their development team is embedded with us on this. And as we're rebuilding this product, this is going to front a store in I think it's February, like late February, something like that. I don't think we don't have like our exact dates down here on this one, but going through the QA process with Meta, all that sort of jazz. So that was the first dev stream. We were just kind of going over some of the new features on that. And then Live Open Mike, who's other personality is Michael Johnson, is our community manager. He just did a
Nice.
dev stream of Space Dragon, just kind of like going back over it again and just having a really good time. It was really a fun stream. I must have clipped like 7 things in a row before he was like, "Why are you clipping everything?" Like there were so many good moments where he was like saying important like onboarding stuff, and I'm like, that was great. We need to get that out to the world. Like it's educational Space Dragon talk right there. And then he did some about a million really hilarious things that deserve to be clipped as well.
Nice.
A
That's pretty cool.
lot of dragon talking to each other, dragons singing, a lot of this, a lot of la 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 la.
It's got to be pretty interesting feeling, like you said, like you made this years ago, and then you got to come bring it back out, polish it up, play with it, kind of fall back in love with it, and really enjoy it, and just kind of see everyone's reaction to it. Both then and now. I bet that it's just interesting.
Yeah, the market just wasn't there before. We put this
Mhm.
out thinking like who could resist this amazing game? And then you realize, oh wait, there's not that many people around who even have a headset, let alone have not the ability to kind of persevere through what it took to get in VR. back in
Yeah.
2016. Every day it was like, "Ah, this didn't work. I have to update a driver. I gotta unplug the HDMI. Wait,
Mhm.
don't replug it back in the wrong order. Ah." It was nonstop shenanigans. Somebody unplugged the satellite, when you're on the Vive. And now it's so much more accessible, and to be free of the cables and just free on your Meta Quest is such a great fit for Space Dragon, as you're able to kind of like spin around and shoot in 360. It's a 360 game. You're flying and
Yeah.
shooting and trying to navigate your way.
Yeah. Space Dragon and not to mention another game, but Anshar 2 are two of my quickly favorite games to sit in a swivel chair and just spin
Yeah,
around. Like I don't
that's
use the
awesome.
joysticks at all. Just spin around and aim and do all that. Like it's such a good feeling, especially in space.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. I mean, I find myself quick turning. It's a little bit of my just memory of doing it that way. And then also when you're developing, a lot of times it's like I just want to get there really fast. Just go. And then you get to that spot and you're like, okay, now I need to enact said explosion at the right time so that I can hear this sound layer hit this sound layer. And I want to hear it all together at one time. And I have to be in the exact right position and then kind of drift around and check it out and stuff. So I do a lot of that.
So I'm kind of curious. It seems like there is quite a story how you guys go from like first tinkering with VR to like you said, oh now we're just blowing up worlds and crap. So kind of you don't have to give us the full backstory obviously, but how did you land on like Space Dragon? Like how'd you get there from the start, like the story and
I think it was so Chris was working on the movement system and really getting hooked on the flying and really kind of developing that out. I was getting hooked on flying as well, and really all of us loved that. Somewhere along the lines, it became this needs to be a uh, space game. And I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Chris is as well. It's just, the nerds run deep there. And Cordelia is not. And Cordelia is kind of like the major other component of our triangle of how, development, right? So I'm the audio, Cordelia is the visuals, and Chris is the development side. Cordelia like implements all the systems and really does a lot of stuff on this project. So between that thing, we had to convince Cordelia that it was a good idea to do a sci-fi game when she's super fantasy, and then that's where the dragons come in.
nice.
So it was a balance of making sure that everybody had something that they really loved in the game, so that it would work together for us. I mean, they're just gorgeous. I mean, look at what Cordelia has done.
Yeah.
I mean, she built these amazingly beautiful dragons and these frigging creatures. I mean, some of them are her creatures. Some of them are creatures, or she's gotten an asset and just made it incredible, like so much beautiful work done in this game.
Yeah, the bosses and the world's like you said, just massive and just kind of flying by. Like you said, putting the dragons together and going super fast, like that's just an awesome time. But then you pull up aside like the bosses and you just realize how big they are, like you said. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, when you hit the mecha dragon, and you're flying next to it, and you're like, I need to go up and see who I call mommy dragon, just saying mommy, because like it's two little space dragons. They're like, and then she gets captured, and is she not your mommy, or is he your daddy? I don't know. We haven't quite exposed that in the story just yet. Kind of let you use your own imagination, which really is one of the best things about the game. Is we've only left you just enough story points that you can kind of make up a lot of stuff. So let me ask you, do you think, um, on the planets, are those humans or are they machines?
That's a pretty good question because I asked myself that when I was playing, and I
That's
kind of settled
awesome.
on
I'm glad that you
machines.
got there. Yeah. Oh,
I kind of settled on
nice. What
machines,
was your
but I
rationale?
just kind of the setting and like, well, could a human really survive out here? I don't think so, but are humans even a thing in this, in the lore in this, game?
Right,
Kind of just
right.
seemed like a robotic thing.
In the year 2020, 25, when man is still alive.
Yeah, I'll be surprised we make it to 2025.
Yeah,
But
I know, right? At this rate. Fortunately, I was just blowing up worlds, taking everybody out with me, just lasing across. It's
like
actually
if
one
I
of the
saw these
commercials.
dragons, if I saw these dragons heading towards Earth, I'd just be like, okay, it's time. I'm good.
That's
Um,
good. I will give myself, sacrifice myself to the space dragon gods. I'm good with that. So one of
I
the commercials I really wanted to do at one time was to just take a bunch of like Adobe stock, and it'd be like, oh, a nice couple holding hands walking on the beach. Space Dragon's just coming by and lasing that shit right up.
you need to make
Like,
that
On the
commercial.
I
stratosphere,
know.
dragons
Yeah, it
killing
was gonna be
everything.
like a three set. One was like another beautiful, just a beautiful serene lake or something.
Some
Like,
dudes fly fishing in a lake.
the long shot down the board too, like those boards, and you're just like, oh
Mhm.
my god, it's so friggin' perfect here. It's annoying.
It's annoying. Placid Lake.
Hmm, that's awesome. But I really did like the approach, like you mentioned, like you kind of just get into the game and you don't really you have a few pointers, but you're basically like just go figure it out. And I really like games that do that because I think a lot of games there's a lot of hand holding nowadays and it gets really old. I've been playing games for 40 years. I don't need help.
Yeah,
I'd
right,
rather have
right.
something confuse me would be nice.
Some people try things in games where it's like, you what? So you like, please keep putting some tutorials in games. Some games make your game so they don't need it. But if you don't do that, don't leave me hanging. Like,
It's really tough. We have had
yeah,
so many situations where we've built something and thought, oh, this is so obvious. And then you put people in it and they're just like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do here. And you're like, wait, what, really? And then somewhere we realize that there's just this huge gap of knowledge between all these different things. Like there's people who don't game at all. So they don't even know, they don't even look at the controllers. The way we look at the controllers, and we're like, well, it's just an Xbox controller. You just ripped it apart in your hands, right? Like that's the first thing anybody thinks if they're a gamer. Non gamers are just blown away by all these buttons and they don't know all the usual like, hey, there's a door, I should go try to get out and I should try to loot friggin' everything. Like obvious stuff for us is not obvious for someone else. And then you get this other component of gamers who are like super hardcore gamers and they get in VR sometimes and they don't know what to do either. Like they forget that they can actually like, you know, do this. Hi, hey, actually like operate forward focused. So
Mhm.
it's really, really, really tricky. We have to worry about like how do we get you in the right position to see the right stuff at all times? How do we give you just enough information that you know what's going on, but we don't break immersion and we don't wreck it for you when you do pick stuff up quick, and just we just keep testing it and try out different stuff.
it's gonna be hard. You said before in the
So
podcast.
this game was originally really fucking hard, like over the top hard. We called that Cordelia mode because she's just a pro gamer. Like, don't mess with Cordelia in a game. Um, and for her, yeah, she's like, this is not hard. This is just basic, challenging, I guess, like just challenging enough for her. And other people got in the game and like, there's no way. So we had to reduce the ships and stuff like that, calm it down a little bit.
Do you have different modes for like difficulty like Ludicrous and Cordelia.
Yeah, we're talking about that's on the roadmap. Cordelia mode is on the roadmap. We're just calling it hard mode so that nobody named Cordelia feels bad. I think it's quite honorable actually. Cordelia mode's like, oh shit, this is actually hard. We might go with like that Iron Dragon, something like that,
Nice.
like, and then you'll get a skin for that. You'll get the iron skin. That's kind of that future roadmappy type of thing. But coming up like right away, like the end of this month kind of thing, we're going to do another release where we're going to add in not like a URP update, which is going to give us a nice performance boost, and some post processing is going to get added. It'll give us a little more of that, little more bloom kind of thing.
Nice. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
have
lots of cool stuff.
want to share some of your roadmap, that'd be cool to hear. Kind of see what's coming down the pipeline. If you
All right,
can.
hang on, let me pull it up. Let me slide on over here. Yeah. So there's that stuff. Oh, and lots of expanded gameplay.
Nice.
There's a couple of like a lot of new content area. This game's fast. We actually did a speed run to kind of even lean into it even more. If you want to bash through this game, you can do it. You can like you learn to strafe along, to slide along while you're shooting, and it doesn't take you long before you get really freaking good at this, and then you're just like, and you're blowing up the planet, and then you got to just do the moon, not because you need to, because you just want to. Um, I have to do it every time. I can't help myself. There's just something about like flying through it while it's exploding that's just too much fun for me. But we know that it's a bit short, right? So we wanted to add a lot more content here and maybe bring back some of a little bit more challenging areas and kind of mix up the gameplay a little bit. So there's an area when you're coming up on that big building, it's really where you come out of, but you don't think you know that right away. The big green structure, the AI superstructure.
Yeah.
That is a huge space between where you are when you start in the level and where you go to that door. Just absolutely ridiculously far away. So what's going to happen is right there, a bunch of ships will be like, oh, okay, a bunch of ships come in, like, and now they're like going to fight you before you can even get through that door now. Like, so there'll be like this epic battle because they're defending the AI ship now to stop you from breaking. So it'll kind of change that whole area. That treatment will be way more exciting right there.
Yeah. The sound effects in the game are great, but I think you need to put in a mode where you have your sound effects in there as well, like just a click of a button.
I like that idea a lot.
That'd be awesome.
The sound effects were hard to do because I had a lot of like heavy explosions, and back in the old version, because of the way headphones that most people had were modeled for those devices, and then these open ear headphones that are not so great. Wow, what a difference! Like the kind of like any little high endness kind of just going, it doesn't feel nice, and it doesn't feel nice.
Yeah.
So I toned them down pretty significantly and sort of created more splatter effects so that if you have it cranked up and you're just zooming through, it's not like shotguns going off in your ear. It's more like, yes, satisfying crash around your head. Okay, cool. Move on to the next one. That's a little different and some variability. But I got more updates coming for that as well. I'm gonna be moving this project to Fmod, which from a developer, from an audio standpoint, yeah, this is spatial audio, all that sort of jazz. But I can't do as much flexibility and variability of soundscaping in the system that I'm using for this old version. And Fmod gives me just maximum flexibility to be able to go round and round on like sound effects. Like if I wanted to use a variable to go back and modify the attributes of the way that the sound effect is going to be played in the context of the thing that just happened, I could do that. And if you think about what that means from like these ships and these explosions, I can add a lot more like volume and variability around like the things that are actually occurring in the scene to kind of make it feel even more correct. Especially like this guy right here. he will benefit greatly from that situation. Like the legs are, it's like lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 explosions, a cascade effect of 6 explosions. It's good, it's cool, but it's not what I wanted. I wanted it to really be, the whole arm is articulating at the same time as these explosions are going off. Like that. That's a different like arc of sound that's coming waving at your face, and I can't really quite get that effect.
That's I kind of
Model
wanted
of
Because we know what that would sound like, right?
yeah. I was gonna ask because your background seems like you have quite an extensive, very epic background in sound design, or correct me if I'm wrong, sound design and a couple other things like that are in there. So you're
Yeah, a
definitely
lot of heavy metal, rock, goth, heavy metal stuff going on.
that's awesome.
The big background in that, yeah. Yeah, that's been cool to kind of incorporate into all of this because you never think like these projects that you do, like sometimes you do these really cool things and then you move on to the next thing and you're just they're so different sometimes. And what I've been doing is it's like engineering, it was a big thing, engineering, development, design, and at the same time, now this is nice that I had these things. At the same time, music career. So, Jack Off Jill, founding Jack Off Jill with other people and, putting out lots of albums and touring. And then, getting to that point where we're actually doing arena tours and the whole bit. And then I
Wow.
took the engineering stuff and leaned really deep into like incubator models and, heavier, big development stuff, and it allowed me this entire company allowed me to come full circle back around everything and pull it all together to take engineering and art and design and music and slap it all together and just have a fucking great time blowing shit up. So like I'm living the dream over here.
Yeah, that's awesome. With that being said, with you said the company works. Obviously, you make games. You have a couple out. Um, you it makes assets for other people to use and those kind of things. Does that help kind of ward off like you know getting tired of working on something, mixing up your creative juices, letting you kind of use all your talents, which seems to be a plethora, which is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not unique here. Like everybody in the company is just massively talented, and they all have that like different layers of talent. Like some business things and medical, and like everybody's got all these weird little knowledge buckets. And so the VR training, I think VR training and accelerating other people's apps, like these models have really allowed us to do that. So yesterday, I was deep in a business metaverse project. Today, I'm flipping back to Space Dragon for this new update. Like that's friggin' cool, And
Yeah.
it was like such a palate cleanser. Like this other thing was like lightweight and realistic, and I'm like, I know what one of those sounds like. I can go find this sound real easily and just do a few tweaks or down a little reverb. You're done, ding. But Space Dragon, you're just like, yeah, what does it sound like when the Kraken shoves you backwards? Like, like how am I gonna really represent that shockwave effect, audio while you're looking at, this thing that's happening and this is pulling this in and accelerating and there's just all kinds of crazy shit going on here. So yeah, this is hard. Like making games is just way more brain intensive, and that's exhilarating, of course. But every once in a while, it's nice if you could just go back and, ooh, let me put a sound on an audio source. Yay, it's done. Yeah, it sounds cool.
You ever go
So with
Foley and have to come up with your own sound effects? Do you use that?
It depends. It depends. I use a lot of Boom libraries, so I give them credit there because they make some really killer stuff. And sometimes I'll take something out of a base library and then I'll modify the crap out of it. Other times it's just friggin' perfect as is. So you never really know what you're going to get. It's like, it's just you have a lot of resources to work from, and there's no reason why you wouldn't pull from all these different areas. And sometimes I'm digging into the different library, different instruments that are on my computer, and then just looking for like a sound that's in a specific library in there, and trying to play it and playing one note, boop, so that I can then run it through 15 different effects and hear what it sounds like. So, um, yeah, it's fun. It's also really fun too to watch how stupid your brain is when you're like, I'm in here because I need this thing for a project. Okay, I'm looking. I guarantee you'll find the coolest sounds for everything but the thing you're working on. And then you're like, okay, that's I'll save that for Space Dragon for later. Boop, 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 boop.
You got like 5 folders for other stuff.
Yeah.
You wanted.
So
Yeah,
I
I
need a
do.
laser
I do.
blast, but I'm
I do.
going
I
to
end up with a bunch
start.
of
Yeah, sorry. Um, yeah, I need a laser blast sound, so I'm going to look for the sound of toast popping up.
that, right? I should take that strategy. I have always thought too, like if you ever wanted to cure cancer, you should try to cure something totally different. Like it's like just don't even think about cancer. Like
Yeah,
cure super glue being sticking your fingers together. Done.
it's awesome. So, I'm just curious, like, you guys also made Vault of Stars, which is on Quest. It's been in my library since it's come out. I haven't got to play it, and I feel terrible about that because I'm sure it's really freaking cool.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you're gonna love it. If you like this, you're gonna freaking love it.
yeah, I'm just
Absolutely.
curious, like, um, kind of the differences and approaches you guys took to a different title and kind of how you worked on that.
So Vault's kind of got the same path of a space dragon. It was in that same time when we were talking about Vault as something, after this, probably like 2018 or something like that. Prototyping around with some ideas on that. And that one just took a really long time to cook because it's this massive game. It's really complicated. It's story rich, intensive. There's this full cinematic. So it's a full flying cinematic, and there's entire particle effects that tell you everything about the story that's going to happen. And then you land on this tutorial island. This raven comes out and he starts telling you what's up. So it's a complicated game. You're being a starlight and you're flying through the stars, not using this movement system, but using a rubber band movement system. That's part of our movement system as well. You kind of like click from your chest. It doesn't have to be your chest, but you can click down anywhere and you can pull out, and you
Oh
move
wow.
in that direction. So it's super precise. If I want to like just, there's a wall here and I want to read some hieroglyphics or something, I can just like slide on over to it, like super precise and in any direction I want to go. So, as a being of starlight, that's kind of a handy skill for you to have. And then we let you like your energy, we let you like take your energy and then transfer it into a golem, and then you've taken over a golem, and you're walking
Nice.
around and you're smashing crystals, and as you can imagine, they sound amazing and they explode in your face.
I'm sorry, I'm
And
gonna have to go play right now. That sounds too. This is over. That sounds too good. I'm gonna go play it.
it's really fun. It's really, really fun. Got a lot of cool puzzle mechanics in there, like just laser line thing. Where you take your energy, start up a thing, and now you're kind of doing one of these, like pointing around do the big lines. It's just fun to fly around and stuff, and lots of portals and moats too. There's a lot of moats. There's these little moats like your head here. They come flying around. You can grab them. You can grab them with the golem, and you can take one in your hand and hold it, or you can squish it. And when you're real careful, if you're really clever, you could die, like get yourself a way to, like, you put it in your hand when you're the astral being and like just hang on to it, and then die, and then you can take it into your death plane, which
Hmm.
is kind of it's an accident that you can do that, but we like it.
Nice.
Like I thought it'd be cool to have like a fish tank in your death plane with all the moats that you caught. Totally outside the story, of course.
That's awesome. It's
Yeah,
so
it's a fun game.
it's so awesome to me. Like, obviously people are completely different from each other, but just VR is kind of like, there's mechanics and movement and all the things to figure out and think of, but just the range of games, even if they're somewhat similar to another game, just like your viewpoint for like that, like, and you explaining that just sounds so like amazing. And I've seen videos of it. I haven't played it yet, but I will. Um, just like the artwork and the characters, like what's in there from the videos, from what I've seen, like when it first came out, was like, I don't know what that is, but I got to play it. Well, you
That's
describing
awesome.
it and just putting like your team's personal spins on it, like, and what comes out of that is just art to me. Like, that just sounds so cool.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. It's tricky with VR because there's all these different ways to explain it too. When you're like telling someone about your video game that's in a 2D plane, you tend to focus on the visuals. You tend to focus on the story, like concept art and that sort of thing. But in VR, it's also really helpful to explain to people what it feels like because that's
Yeah.
like you're just enveloped in this world, and the only other people that really understand what it's like to do stuff like this is like zoo designers, like you build this thing and then you can be inside there with people and see how they experience it, and that's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vault's got so there's a tutorial island right now that's pretty intensive, and then what we're working on right now, we don't have a date for anything here on this now. There's an island one that's the full first big island, and there's like I think it's 6 engagement areas. There's two. There's a dungeon. That's actually the first one's the vault dungeon, and it's actually the original level of the entire game that we ever built. So it's funny that it's like sort of tucked under here now with all this other stuff like piled on top of it. So yeah, there's a big the boss is in this big top area, and there's all these engagement areas, and so that's a temple, and then way out here is a temple, which is the Seahorse Temple. And so there's a major and minor, but we're kind of treating them like equals. And this is perseverance and creativity are the traits that we're focusing in on. The creativity being the seahorse, and perseverance being the shark over here, and how important it is that these two things exist, together and work together. Is because you could be creative as fuck and never get a goddamn thing done. So yay, right?
Yep.
And sometimes you can just have too much perseverance and get in your own way, just being hard headed, or not taking a minute to breathe, So it's kind of a cool combo on the traits there. And so you fly around, you solve lots of cool puzzles, and you get these amazing lore drops that are soul memories. And it's very particle effect characters acting out things that happened in the past. So you're getting lore drops to then kind of fill in what the hell is going on here? Why am I here? Who am I? Why am I here? How did I get here? The usual things that you ask in video games. And over time, as you're exploring the island, you start to figure out some of those things and figure out your place in the world.
Nice. Can't wait to try that one too.
Yeah, I'm getting a
Yeah,
hint
I
that you
can't wait
like
to get some stuff out.
explosions.
What's that?
There's a connecting theme in what you've been saying. You really like explosions. Am I
I
wrong?
don't know if you heard him, but
Sorry, sorry. Yeah, you're
he
cutting out
said
over
you
there.
really like explosions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
noticing
right.
this
Yeah.
theme.
There's a lot of explosions. Yeah, I think Cordelia and I have an issue about like blowing shit up, but I'm not sure. I mean, why would they like? It's like like it is fun to do like regular normal stuff in VR. It's a lot of fun, but also it's you might as well do crazy shit too. Like,
You could be blowing
Yeah.
it up.
right? You great. I'm down with that. And that's an important lesson for emergency skills, is it not? It's actually one
But
of the things
you,
we usually pitch in VR training is like, we have a digital twin of your entire environment. We should really have like a Godzilla alert and just get that over with. Kaiju will, pay homage to the great ones.
but you nailed it right out at the start of our chat with what I kind of think. Like, there's a lot of games that are fun and stuff, but like anything you can show me in a normal traditional flat game, or especially VR, that I can't really do in real life, that's where I want to be. Like, other
Hmm.
stuff's cool, but like sports games, like I don't care. Like, they're fun, but I'd rather be doing something that doesn't really exist or I can't really do, and just kind of experience stuff like that. So
I mean, that would include sports games for me, but I can't really do. Ah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. Like, make me like an alien on a planet, like fighting for my life to survive, and I have to eat like, I don't know, chop the heads off of bugs and feed into something over there. I don't care, whatever. As long as it's just batshit crazy, I'm in.
yeah.
Because right, otherwise I could just go do that. Like, where's the fun in this?
Mhm.
Although I say that, but also there are like some of those games, like the archery stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could go do archery in real life, but in a game, I don't have to like leave
Go
my
pick up the arrow.
house, right? Go pick up the right
50
work,
feet, and
like
you're like, where the hell did that one go?
actually know what I'm doing. There's that. I can just fuck around and be like, look at me, I'm so awesome. Like,
Yeah.
it's the shortcut.
I hit the neighbor's cat. Oh, get.
Oops.
Sorry.
Oopsie. Not so great. Not so great after all.
And you should get a bracelet. Like, what would I do in VR as you're walking around? Like, I hit a
Ooh, I
cat
like
with the
that.
arrow,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, it's stuck on the arrow. I guess I better barbecue it and just kind of cook
It's a right,
right there.
right. It's the whole game itself, like back in the
Blow it up.
backyard game. Well, I used to play the shit out of that Nintendo game, Link's Crossbow, whatever it was called.
Yes.
Remember this one? It was
Crossbow
such a
training. Yep.
yeah, it was so good. It was so good.
I
I
love that
love that
game. I
shit.
still power it up once in a while and play it.
Oh, I would if I hadn't lost my Wii in the basement flood, I would be still playing
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that and WarioWare is just yeah, my God, smooth moves. Like that was one of my favorite games of all time back in the day, and we're definitely working on some of those spiritual successor type of thing for that, like that
Nice.
fast fun mini game kind of idea. I just love how insane those were, and that you had no time. You had no time to figure, and you just had to just don't think, just do. And I think that's a cool message.
Yeah.
Shoot that
Like
cat.
help me, ah! And the woman's like falling down the no, you have to put your hand out right here or she dies. Oops.
I would
It's
enjoy
like,
that.
it's like either make a decision, the good decision or bad decision is better than no decision. And
Right,
you would have
right, right. I
here's
mean,
your
I actually feel like, on the neurodiversity skills, this is the beneficial thing
Yeah,
is
those are
to
life lessons.
help you make decisions faster, and by reducing the amount of time you have to sit around and worry about shit, that's
Yeah.
a good thing.
Yep.
I'm
Quick
down
draw.
with it.
You save
Yeah.
the ladies, save the dudes, push them all in the pit, blow up the cat.
But there's only enough time to do two. Go.
Right.
Oops.
Which one do you save?
No. Like every Spider-Man movie ever.
I was just thinking that. I was thinking, which one did Spider-Man save? That was running through my freaking head.
Yeah, that's always the go-to.
Can't he just shoot web and stick everybody there and kind of give
I
himself a
know. Like
breather? But
every time I'm always like that. I'm like, that like that doesn't even make any sense, right? Like it just blows the whole movie for me. Like, there was one of the Avenger movies when they like opened up the sky and then the ships came down no atmosphere to atmosphere, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep. How are they floating?
Yeah.
How was the and that was it. I was like, I was spun out. Like, I'm surprised I didn't get up and just leave. But the
I
Red
would watch
Robin
movies
wrap
with
up
you.
after that movie was very focused around that topic.
I would watch movies with you and your friends because the same thing runs through my head with like, yeah, there's a guy in a cape, there's a guy in a metal outfit, there's a big green dude, that's all fine. But the physics of those,
Yeah,
the locomotion behind those spaceships, where's
yeah. No,
what
I
kind
know,
of
I
thrust
agree,
works?
and I went through all the other
Yeah.
lists too. The green guy, the radioactive, like I was okay with that, but there is a line I draw, and no further, no
What
further will
propulsion
I
can go
go.
from 0 G in a vacuum to an atmosphere?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I mean, I really wish you were there with me because I was so annoyed. Like,
I'd be there
like
with you.
it's almost like you're teaching an entire generation the wrong shit. The other stuff's fantasy, you know.
You guys
See,
definitely need to hang out more because Wookie says that stuff all the time, and I just shrug. I'm like, I thought it was cool.
I
Like,
ruin
don't care.
shit for
I just,
everybody.
I mean, you gotta put you gotta put some work into these shows, people. If
Yeah.
you're just gonna make up a character like, oh, the character could fly around. Okay, fine. The character's from another planet, whatever. Make up some. Okay, I can go with that, but don't mess with things that are real. That just messes it right up.
Yeah, I ruin shit for a lot of people. And like with Star Wars, all the latest stuff going on with that. And I'm like, no. Where Star Wars lost me was there was an article or like a tweet where the Mark Hamill guy was like, we got out of that garbage chute, and the very next scene, my hair was dry. And I was like, hey, George Lucas, wouldn't my hair be wet? I was just underwater. And they're like, nobody's going to notice those details. Anybody
Yeah,
and
right.
Harrison Ford was like, if anybody notices that, we're making the wrong move. They're like, shut up, kid. And I'm like, as a kid, I was always
Wow.
like, he just got out of the bathtub and his hair
I
was
had,
dry.
I was 4 years
Wow.
old, and that popped in
It's
my
all
head. I'm like, how's
perfect.
his
It's all
hair so
blown
dry
dry.
and feathered?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
The
I
whole
mean, what
thing
they
does
didn't
laser
tell
sword.
you was that the garbage pit, like, went under a blower to dry the garbage, and they just sort of went through that, and the hair was like, that's why it was all feathered and nice,
Yeah.
and we'll call back to the 70s.
See that a $4 set piece could have fixed all the problems of that
Seriously,
movie.
right? And we would have thought of that. Like Cordelia would have made that happen because Cordelia would have been like, "We can't do that. That we are not doing that. We're going to make sure that the story element shows it."
The movie is terrible, but the plot holes are filled.
Right,
Versus
right.
makes billions of dollars, and
Yeah, I mean, I think that would make me. I would love to see a study on whether that would make me happier or not. But like, no, I mean, like that kind of thing, because I complain about this shit all the time. And would I, if I sat there and watched a movie that was as bad as some of these movies really are when you really get down to it, would I enjoy it because it was buttoned up? I
Yeah.
mean, I think I would. I know I've
it
watched a
wouldn't.
lot of mediocre shit on Netflix that I've thought to myself, yeah, but this was cool, or like there were pillars of coolness in it. It just didn't come together correctly, and you could see why it
Yeah.
did take off. But you could be like, I can really appreciate the art here.
Yeah.
I get that.
So, what else
I
have you
think
hated? Because this is a
I
great
think you
conversation.
guys have stumbled onto a really cool VR game where you could take some like movie scenes and in VR just kind of like make props and like
Fix
change
them.
things.
It's just right, like fix the movie. I like that.
Get
But
the
Yeah,
license
yeah,
for
that's
that.
kind of like I mean, Ready Player Me, of course, had you, reenacting. We could have you
yeah.
fixing along the reenacting plus fixing. That's a bonus upsell in your Ready Player Me experience of reenacting a movie.
But you can definitely ask Wookie what he hates. I'm just gonna warn you, you will be here for until your battery dies. Like, and that's
Like
cool.
mine probably should have. I don't know. We probably don't want to go there. Like I ruin things. Like we'll be playing. Our friend group will be playing games. They're all having fun. I say one thing about the game, and everyone quits playing it. Like,
Oh wow,
what? I'm
wow!
like,
I don't
yeah,
think
but
I'm that bad. I mean,
it's
I'm definitely a
it's
pain
the
in the
same.
ass though.
It's the same thing. It'd be like, yeah, but this could be better. And they're like, yeah, that sucks. And
It's
then that's the last time we play that game.
just as an example, like in the past we'll be playing Call of Duty or some game, and all of us and our friends were pretty good at stuff, so we're like we'll be dominating everyone else, and everyone's just having fun, feeling good. And Wookiee's over in the corner, like, son of a bitch, this one little site, the tree is moving wrong. Like,
Oh yeah, but you can't look away though. Sometimes
I
it's
get,
like
yeah, I get it.
it's hard to. It's hard, if you notice stuff, it's just tough. That's
Yeah,
actually why I don't like it when somebody, if you're trying to watch something on TV and you're not really paying attention 100%. So if somebody walks in and the second that somebody goes, "Oh, isn't that so and so from whatever?" like that, I'm done.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm sure I knew already. I'm sure I knew.
Mhm.
And I was able to keep that immersion breaker at bay
Yep.
and go with it and let the guy or girl or whatever do their job acting. But if it's pointed out, I'm screwed and I can't stop looking at it. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I think
This is
that's why
probably why I
VR.
like doing VR, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
because I really like to be like fully immersed. Like I want to be all in. I don't want anything to remind me that something's wrong or not right. And let's do this.
yeah. I was gonna
Taxes
say,
are overdue, but fuck it. Hmm?
I think that's why like VR hits me so hard, because even with like a movie I really love, like I'm one of those people where, like, I don't want to hear anyone say a fucking word. I don't want to, I have the lights off. I have my lights synced so they're all matching what's on the screen.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get angry
cool.
when my cat's purring too loud. Like, I'm here to see this movie. Like,
Yeah,
and my
I mean,
wife is
people
like,
put their whole lives into making this friggin' movie. The least you could do is have a little respect and watch it,
yes,
He
yeah.
and
broke his
like,
toe when he kicked that helmet. The least you could do is shut the fuck up.
But my wife does
I
that.
mean,
She has
seriously.
to know what other show that person's from. She can't wait till after the movie. She has to do it right then
Or
and there. And
just
then I
look it
just,
up on your phone and don't say anything. If
well,
you got to
she'll do
scratch that,
that, but it's like when it's pitch black and we're watching something, then just like a theater, you see that phone go off. It's like, God damn it!
It's the cinematic equivalent of when somebody's like
So that goes
telling
back to
some.
the bow and arrow thing. Just saying,
What?
right there. Pew. Just make a
What are
little
you
AR
shooting?
app for you, like choo choo choo. That'd be a great
Were you
AR
saying
app for
something,
the
Wookie?
Apple headset.
Yeah.
Mine was off in a dumb direction. It does not need to be
Okay.
followed. Like usual.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't think we should start down the path of the rant, because I'll just be like,
I know it's too easy, isn't it? Just
it's
But hey, that's why you got to be a creator. If you're going to be a critic and you're going to be a hyper focuser, it feels like you go pour that energy into cool ass projects and you do it right, and
Yeah.
then what people like you want. So I'm here for you. I got you
a
covered.
great equivalent of here, hold my beer.
I got this. At no time would you not think that you aren't two space dragons. You will absolutely fucking believe it in this game. You'll be like, yes, these are my little friends. Yay! And you'll be sitting there talking and singing and making up stupid stories endlessly. Um, which, of course, in the future roadmap, not the near term release, we have some emojis coming up and stuff like that. We're going to give them a little more personality to go with and give them some flavor abilities. But like, yeah, it's going to be pretty intense. Like as we kind of build this out more, and you can like, there's this one. What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? It's the one that means there's a bunch of triangles on it. Geodesic. Geodesic. That's it. That's the word I was looking for. Why
I'm
didn't
like,
you
I don't
get
know.
that?
Is it?
This geodesic sphere. So the Leviathanos, the big whaley whale guy. Sometimes he's actually sometimes just called the space whaley whale. It's internal terms, like very technical. Sometimes they're through He's going to be encased in this geodesic dome sphere. Sorry, because it's all the way around. We actually had an entire conversation about this, whether or not a dome, a geodesic dome, or is it a geodesic sphere? Wow, there were Wikipedia pages out.
A dome is a structure where like at least half or slightly less might be.
Right. That's what Cordelia said. But Bryce was trying to say that as long as it was the shape like, it was okay. And then we had came up with the assessment that yes, this bisecting this in any way, shape, or form now makes it a dome. So
It
yeah.
could be a hemisphere, motherfucker, but it's not.
Right. I feel like Bryce might have said that today, actually. Possibly those exact words. So that structure now will encase so that you know how big that Leviathanos is. So imagine how much bigger this thing is, and you're going to get into this thing, and then you're going to be like going through a maze inside this thing.
Nice.
Yeah. So I haven't actually tried this yet, but I did get to see a preview of it today. I'm going to go check it out. We're talking about some of the finer points of knowing what the fuck direction you're going. Like, because you're like flying your dragons like this and then like that. And you're like, okay,
I'm lost.
right. Yeah. But you're like, you're going with them in that. So it'd be different if I was just moving them like this, but I'm not. I'm with them my whole self as I'm flying
Yeah.
through this whole thing. So that's kind of a little bit of a mind fuck too.
That's where the spinning chair comes in real handy. You can just kind of like
Yeah,
pivot and
right.
turn.
Yeah, it's the down part that was really tripping us though, the whole conversation. Like, okay, well, what if I end up down? And I'm like, can't we just turn it sideways? And Quiddy's like, no, it's a sphere. I'm like, ah,
You can rotate it though.
it's just right. That's what I said. But she's right. Of course, it's a sphere, and the way that you go around it, you would end up. You're always gonna. One of those times, you're gonna end up in the direction that's gonna mess with your brain. So we just gotta try it out and see how it goes. And if we have to make a few tweaks, we'll make a few tweaks.
I
You
have
just make it so
a
you sit still and like you just move the sphere around you.
Yeah, I think that would be really sickening. we did something like that one time. Chris did a prototype of like a bunch of things sort of rotating like that. Like you're gonna fly your space dragons through these rotating things, and you're gonna go through it like that's a maze. Oh, whoa, like because you're like this, and off in the distance is this thing rotating in these directions, and your brain is going, "Am I moving? I'm not spinning. You're spinning."
Yeah.
And it didn't feel good, so we had to back away from that. Either that or we have to do it really slow.
I just have to say,
Yeah.
anyone listening to the audio and not watching the video, you just missed some very impressive hand movements and field work.
That skill. I have the skills.
I have a suggestion I think would be really awesome for the game, though. If you can make a Twitch app, whatever they call that integration, to where the people watching the stream can type in stuff, and what they type will come out of comment bubbles out of each dragon.
Oh
and
my
then you
God.
can talk to those dragons, like you were saying. Like,
Yeah, because we have the Twitch widget integration.
yeah.
So could we make the dragons say the words? I don't know if that's possible, because that would mean you'd have to actually know what each individual message is coming in to then decide. I mean, in the perfect world, you could assign a username to a dragon, and only those dragon people get to speak for like a reward or an upgrade or something.
Yeah.
I do like where you're going with this, though. Maybe it could be a Twitch widget that only the one person like in the widget thing can do, not like the whole chat.
Yeah.
But just specific people could say, like, do a channel reward, make dragon say, something probably offensive, because let's face it, that's first
on like one of four things, and then one gets.
Oh, that's good too, because that's simple and less uncontrolled. Requires no moderation. I like where you're going with this.
Like you're saying, like you're playing and you're having
future-proofing.
conversations by yourself, but I can only do two. I can't be a third voice. So that one dragon's just always silent. It's just me and this other guy talking. So I need some help.
You don't make up two voice and you're like, hey, how's it going? Hey, what's going on over here? Like, should we go blow some shit up? Oh, yes, absolutely.
I play a character, and then this dragon plays. I have a voice for that one. This one, I cannot do three. So
I can. That's my limit. I can only do two characters. Maybe you should transfer your character to this dragon. Now it's just the two dragons that have characters, and you no longer have a character.
then I personally feel left out.
The dragons will hug you and make you feel better and give you little hearts
Okay,
and stuff.
that could work.
Everything will be good there.
You could implement voice recognition just for the fact that somebody gets an achievement when they like say the thing like the first episode of was it Firefly? Cursed you and your inevitable betrayal or whatever. Like as soon as somebody says that perfectly, they get an achievement. And that's the only reason you have voice tracking. Just to see if they say that.
Just for that. Just for
Just for
like
that
300,000 people in the United States who also have MetaQuest and Space Dragon to get that reference.
And the two people that
I mean,
know
to
it,
be fair, there's probably about 500 or 600.
Yeah, if it hasn't happened yet, I'd be surprised.
Oh.
My favorite
That's
Firefly reference is the weirdest fucking one when Ron Glass, I can't remember his character name in Firefly.
I don't remember who the actor Ron Glass is.
Right, she kept calling him Grandpa.
Yeah, the doctor guy, the older guy.
No.
Preacher.
The preacher guy.
Yep.
But she's like, so she kept calling him Grandpa or something like that, because he was older. And he just casually says, I never married. And she just missed it. Like she just didn't understand. Like, and then he was just like, oh, forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah, just like I never married. That's the first episode too, and they're taking them with passengers. That gives her the strawberries or something.
Yeah, right. Because they're boarding, they're getting the crew set up. Man, what a fucking great show that was. Like,
Yeah. I'll be in my bunk.
Right.
I would like to have a podcast where we just watch that show and talk about it while it's playing. Like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you could like get away with like what could you watch on big screen? I wonder if you could get like sponsor
You can
nights where you get a free pass
do
and stuff.
anything you want on Patreon because you're behind a paywall. I'm just saying.
Oh. Yeah, because I'm not about exploiting the material. I'm about promoting the material. That's a totally different ball of wax, Like when you're talking about a dead property and you're bringing it back around and you're helping other people go buy it, you're helping. I'm all over that. It's basically you're the mixtape person.
The demo.
The demo guy. You're that guy.
You're the demo.
The guy with the goods, man. Man, you got the cool shit.
Yeah.
You blow
Still
it
got
up.
some mixtapes. I do. I blow up all the worlds. I do. Yeah. And so were you conflicted blowing up the planets, listening to the planets, listening to the radio sounds? It's my microphone now.
No.
See? You can't get that with hand.
Just No, you don't. You just don't get that effect. You just don't get the creativity.
People keep
So it's just how we do a lot of
these...
development too. Is we always use primitives like this because it's just so much more free because you can just pretend whatever stupid scenario you want on top of the primitives, and it's a lot more freeing.
Yeah.
People keep busting on us. I'm like, it's not a AAA game here. It's hands.
It's intentionally weird.
Were you never a kid? Like these are hands. They could be rocket. They could be microphone.
Right.
Use your imagination.
You know what they really are? Is like they're like little subway, little boats. They could be little like
the best thing ever. They can be.
Oh, here we go.
You can little like dolphins and shit.
Tell me
I
that's
got
not a
this
butt.
down, man. Right? What the hell is that?
It's a
Is that your butt? I have 2 potatoes. 1, 2.
These are like those homewrecker burritos from that one of
Oh
those
yeah,
burrito
right.
shops.
Fucking sounds good. Take a big old burrito. That motherfucking burrito. This is how
That's
my
the name of my
burritos used to be.
food truck. Yeah.
Boop, boop. Yeah, no, right? Imagination play. That's what it's all at. So we always tell people we didn't really want to add voicing or anything to dragons because people just sit there and they just start talking and they start doing stuff. So like sometimes I feel like it would be a disservice to give them voices, but also it would be fun to give them voices. So the AI is definitely going to have some voices at some point. There's an AI voice on this commercial here, which is actually me. And then I was going to voice the AI in the game as well, like trying to escape here, all this stuff there.
Nice. If you need
I
any
am
dragon
actually a
voices,
robot, by the way, in case you didn't know.
You're a robot?
I am.
Oh.
I am pure artificial intelligence.
Huh.
you're
Maybe
too
not so
fun
pure.
to be that.
Really want to blow stuff up though.
I
Like,
just, you know
kill all
what? My
humans?
AI is fucking great. I know how to curse with the best. I got it down. I have observed you humans for a very long time, and I got it down. I know what to do now.
Can you use contractions or do you have to say cannot instead of
I say cannot. I'm sorry. I cannot
Shit.
go past that.
Star Trek was right.
Right. I don't even know why, but I was just thinking about that the other day. Like there was just some random thing that came up about that, and I was like, I heard somebody do that in real life, and I thought to myself, "Oh my god,
He's a
It's
robot.
data.
I knew it."
Well, if you do need any dragon voices, I nominate Wookiee. He's seen Braveheart. Wait, Dragonheart more than any
Yikes.
other human I know.
I have? It's just
Yep.
Sean Connery. It's another one of those things
Yeah,
where you get
that's
me
the
on a
only
rant,
that's the
I
only
can't
line I
stop.
remember from the whole thing. Yikes!
Yeah, and you start talking talking like John Connery, you can't stop. I was going to say that earlier, but I was like, okay, we've passed that joke. But yeah, it's you just
That was a phase of this interview. Was the Sean Connery phase where like it actually got touched on twice. This is actually a callback, but only you were there the first time. Now we're all there.
Thank
I like this.
you.
Yeah, I
You finished
am.
the
I'm
thought I
right.
didn't know I was going to start. Like,
Oh no, it's a beautiful thing. No, you're definitely on the like crazy train and like people, the 3 pound crazy train, and just the neurodiversity landscape of beautiful brains. Let me tell you,
I've
there's
never been so
everything.
complimented.
It's just amazing, actually. Just getting some of our voice chats on Discord, and like everybody is just like all these cool different people, and like I was like really look forward to like having a chance, like oh, I just get some Kyle time. I get to hang out with Kyle, yay! Like every person I get to have some meeting with is just some. It's going to be some adventure, and I just think to myself like when I used to sit back in a cube in a boring company and how much this is what I wanted. Like, this is what I want to do. Let's just have cool people to work with that wanted to get shit done and wanted to create cool stuff and like add value to clients and like, build stuff and whatever. And we're there, we're doing it like every day. We're just creating the most amazing worlds and putting stuff out there for people and doing VR training and helping other people get their apps out there. It's just incredible.
That's awesome.
I'm wasting away at a staff meeting today. I wanted to blow it up.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the reality of corporate life is that they want to like they just want you to do your job, and everybody has a creative side, and they're not letting you tap into that. So you start, you try to use some creativity, and you try to like say, hey, let's make some changes. It'd be so cool if we could do this, or it'd be so cool if we could fix this thing. Like, this is really inefficient. I want to make it better. And then you hit a roadblock, and somebody won't tell you really why it's a problem, but they just tell you no. If they told you why, it might have actually worked in your brain, or maybe you would have pivoted, but they won't tell you that. And then you're just beaten down and beaten down. And then you start doing the thing where you just go duck under for work. And then at home, you're like, I'd like to do something creative. I'm too tired. I want to do something creative. I'm too tired. And that sucks. Like,
To anybody who has ever given this shit about the pills, that right there was why.
yeah, no, the pills are great. Boop, 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 boop.
Back to the point, yeah. Too tired.
Time out, motherfuckers.
We've toyed with the idea of having charade nights and doing pill hand charades in here. Like,
so back in my band days, back in Jack Off Jill, back in Fort Lauderdale, there was this band called Pill Magnet. Pill Magnet. I just want you to think about what a fucking great name, Pill Magnet. Like,
that's awesome.
Ridiculous. So, Pill Magnet opened for Jack Off Jill. Like, fucking, that's so great. And I still know one of the guys from the band. So he's like, I told him, I'm like, man, it'd be really cool to make a VR game, Pill Magnet. Like, not politically correct per se, but I just, like, all I have to say is Pill Magnet, and you already know what the game's about. I might make it a level in a game, but he's like all in. He's like, yeah, you got it. It's yours. He's a great guy. He's a super great guy.
When we start adding, we have ideas for mini games. Maybe we should make a Pill Magnet mini game. Have you guys like as a pre-launch, and you'll just be this bowl full of pills. You just stick your head in there and try to stick as many pills.
That's what kind of shape you get when you pull your head out.
I think what we should do is have a Pill Magnet off, and what we do is we tell everybody Pill Magnet go, and they get locked away for like 3 weeks to build a mini game. And we just see how many varieties of Pill Magnets come out of there. Because,
awesome.
I mean, I definitely think I'd be like, like flying around, trying to like gobble up stuff. Like there's just pills floating around, and I'm like, gobble, 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 like Pac-Man kind of thing.
Or like Thanksgiving there. Yeah.
That's just right. Because then it's totally skinnable, right? Because then it could be just Thanksgiving, and it could be like anything. It could be like the pie factory. You're just eating all the pies, losing your mind, right? I'm all over that. And we could do all of this in VR, but sometimes we have to like finish the stuff that we're working on. So we have to stomp those ideas down and say to ourselves, where could we do this mini game idea? And so we have a project for that, but that's kind of our catch-all project for every crazy mini game idea. We stuff it over here. That's basically it's like our list. We stick it on a list. It's over here. It might get worked on, or it might just get on the list, and then we have it.
Particular file.
Yeah, right. And sometimes those things become what is something in a bigger game too. Like there might be an idea here for something, and then we go and, hey, that would be a great boss, or hey, that's a great area engagement for Island 2 on Vault, or something like that. And that happens just a tremendous amount of time because one idea bounces and it turns into 17 more.
The catch-all.
Yeah, we have there's this one system that I really like a lot that, if something's going overhead, and it's targeting you, and you have to hide under stuff. There's a hide to not be seen by this. Which cool. Is on Island 2, kind of far out there on the thing. It's like in a maze, right? And then also, that also is basically a foot stomping, you're just some little character going do 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 do, and this giant foot is stomping on you or whatever, and you're trying to get away from it and just trying to run away, like it's just a little seat cover thing.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so I need all the money so I can make all this shit happen. That's what I'm saying. Like, the fundraising is coming soon. I'm really excited about that because we do have a tremendous amount of cool stuff that we're got over here, stuff we're working on currently in production. Everything's planned out, nice and ready to go, and we're ready to light the fire on a whole lot of releases in the upcoming next couple of years.
Oh, nice. Well, any links we can share, anyone listening, watching, will be in the show notes, so we can direct people your way for all that. Would be
Cool.
We'll be happy to do that.
All right. Well, I'll let you know a couple more roadmap items before we wrap up, and just peeking under my thing. Oh, Warp Rift events. So when you're in the normal flying around stuff, sometimes when you're just doing your thing, just doing your casual blowing up the planet sort of thing, a rift will open up and ships will come out and come after you. So randomized events that are warp, and then you would go over there and go, hey, you guys are bugging me, and go kill those guys off, and then you have to seal that rift, rift in space and time, of course.
Cool. How do you seal it?
With your lasers. Come on. Dragon. That's a tough sound, actually. It's not an easy one to vocalize, quite frankly. So there's new enemy variants with new weapon systems, beam, lasers, charge shots, missiles, carrier ships. So some much bigger ships are going to be piling out there too.
Nice.
So yeah, a lot of new content. There's some extended boss content as well. Not even just that, like getting into the Leviathanis, but also the Phoenix has some extended content going on, and then the level extended play. Some new boss mechanics are in the works, and that's the near term coming up in like just a few weeks kind of thing. So we're working on this actively right now. Next week I'll probably be hitting the sound again. I'm still not going to do the big audio update on this late January release. I'm probably going to do that in the next release. But we're going to evolve that roadmap so we can just keep building this out and just keep adding more gameplay and making it just crazier and bigger every release.
That is exciting.
Gotta get ready for the Chinese New Year. That's what I'm saying, guys, right? Yeah. If I remember correctly, we have it set from I don't know if that's in this build, so I should check this, but we had it set that all the moons exploded into fireworks for Chinese New Year.
Nice. That's a good touch.
So I'll have to check that and see if we still have that in, because if not, we should add it back. That was super cool.
Well, I'm excited. Like I said, I played it. I couldn't stop. The time flew, like you said. But thank you so much for joining us, chatting with us. You quickly become one of our favorite people to talk to. So if you ever want to come back, that would be awesome. We can talk about anything.
we could definitely talk about anything. No problem there. I think we got this down, guys. Awesome. Super cool meeting you both. I am excited to talk with you in the future. See you at some crazy conference sometime, all that sort of jazz. That would be super fun.
Yeah.
This is how you make a middle finger.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's great. I mean, like, this is first finger, this is middle. This is that random, I'm tripping you out finger, and this is my pinky. I'm holding my pinky up for high class here, the highest of class.
When in
Just,
doubt.
Yeah, it's a real problem. It's real. I'll literally play with anything in VR, really. Awesome. Well, super great meeting you guys, and thank you all for watching.
Yep. Thanks everyone for watching, listening, hanging out. This is Robin Mulder from 3 Pound Games, talking about Space Dragon. All the links will be in the show notes, both the video and audio, all that fun stuff. But
cool,
definitely check it out. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks a lot.